Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. We're going to discuss lesson 12 from the book of Mark still as we continue with this Mark. Lesson 12 says, tried and crucified. The key text is from the book of Mark chapter 16 verse 36, which says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? And we can see here Jesus cried while was in the cross, and he says he cried this because of the pain that he feels, and he feels like God had left him, but did God leave him? Not at all. We begin to this week lesson. We'll be able to see how Jesus was tried, being mocked, and finally he is crucified, and at the end of that part he is laid to rest. So we begin with Sunday part, which says, Hail King of Cherries. And here Sunday part says, Are you King of Cherries? And here we can see that Pilate was interrogating Jesus, asking some questions. Are you King of Cherries? And Jesus responds by saying, As you have said. He is mocked with some other questions, but he responds to none other of the questions. He just remains silent. And the people religiously just tried to say that he claims to be God, and yet this is true that Jesus is the Son of God, as we all know. It's not that he is claiming. So it's irony that they mock him, thinking they are mocking him, but they are saying what is the truth. And we can see also that these people accuse Jesus of blasphemy, that is claiming to be God. On Monday part says, Hail King of Cherries. And here we can see it was a custom of these people from, as we continue with the book of Mark chapter 16, it was a custom of the Jews to release someone who is almost to finish his sentence. Not sentence literally, but his jail service. As in Kenya, we see the president, I don't know it is in June or July, that the president releases some people who are jailed. So it was same to these people it was their custom still. So it was the season when this was happening, it was still the same season. So the Pilate asked the people, do you want Barnabas to be released, or what do you want? What do you want to be done to Jesus? And the people, the religious leaders and the chief priests, convince people and mobilize them that they want Jesus to be crucified and they want Barnabas to be released for them. Remember, Barnabas is the one who did so many mistakes. He used to kill people. He used to be a robber. But instead, these people claimed for Jesus to be crucified and then Barnabas to be released. And see, you know what? That's what happened, because Pilate had to do the will of these people. So Barnabas is released, and Jesus, the death sentence is released. So Jesus is accused and he is ready for death sentence to carry the cross. And we know at those times, for death sentence, you want to be crucified. And this takes us to the next stand, which is Tuesday part. Tuesday part says crucifixion. And we can see here, before you go for crucifixion, they hand a rope. This rope was used to be tied with some kind of bone, something sharp, which would cut you. When you are beaten with, maybe your clothes will be cut, or your skin, they just come up with your skin or pull up your skin, so you remain bleeding. And this is what happened to Jesus. He was beaten with these sharp things in the rope, and therefore the skin used to come up from the sticking to those bones or to those sharp things that was tied to the rope. It was so painful, since the moment you receive a beat, you bleed, because imagine a sharp bone beating you. It was so painful. But Jesus had to go through that, because these other people, they also went the same, and they carried the cross to where he was being crucified, and Jesus was crucified on the cross. And here is why we see, when he is crucified on the cross, this will take us to the next step, which is that the part, forsaken. Why have you forsaken me? And here we can see that God has for Jesus Christ on the cross and says, why have you forsaken me? My God, why have you forsaken me? And here happens when Jesus is on the cross. He says, when Jesus is on the cross, he cries before he cuts off his heart. He cries to the Lord and feels that God has forsaken him. He has left him, and now he is almost to die. But you know what? Um, these people tried to say, when he said Eloi, Eloi, some people, the lesson explained that these people were thinking he is calling Elijah, but they didn't know that. They were not able to understand or to remember even whatever Jesus had given them. He had told them that the Son of God will come. He will be accused, and finally will die, and finally at the end he will rise. And this is what happened to Jesus. We all know that Jesus had to die for us. No matter what, he had to die for us for the sake of salvation. Remember when human beings fall a meeting was held in heaven, and they had to discuss that how will we get to salvation. And that's now the plan of salvation come up, and Jesus said, I will. And he died for them, for us, amen. And with this, so when Jesus says, why have you forsaken me? As Christians, we understand that God never leaves us. So as for us, we believe that God didn't leave him literally, but he had to go whatever he had to go through for us to be saved. Remember how our sin cost. It costed our blood for us to be saved. And Jesus finally cut off his heart, and he dies on the cross. When he dies on the cross, this will take us to the next day, which is Thursday part, says, laid to rest. He is laid to rest. Now, a man here, Joseph Arimathea, he is said to be a man who was very rich, very strong, and he was searching for God kingdom. And this year again, he was someone who was big in the courts, Sanhedrin courts, something like that. So he was a man who was given respect. He was a man who was recognized, and at the same time he was seeking God's kingdom. So he went to Pilate to seek Jesus' body, so that Jesus could be laid to rest. So Jesus is ready to rest. He is buried and ready to rest remember when we see the movie of Jesus, we see where Jesus was ready to rest, and then there was what can we say, stone that was lowered to cover the grave. And finally, the lesson is that Jesus was ready to rest. As we know, Jesus rested for 3 days. On Friday, Saturday, and Saturday morning, he arose. So this we continue with it in the next week, where we will lead the risen Lord. And we will be able to see that Jesus has indeed risen from the dead. May God bless you, and may be impacted much, and may this gospel impact you and choose to follow Jesus, who died for you, for the sake of you. The sins that you could never carry, he carried for us all. But again, we are set free since the blood paid it all. God bless you. Bye.